Think bugging out is your survival plan? In a real collapse, it's your biggest mistake. It's not as easy as grabbing a bag and hitting the road, no matter what the movies tell you. In reality, bugging out is more dangerous than staying put. Once the roads clog, you're exposed and vulnerable, and the odds turn against you fast. That's why U.S. emergency agencies say you should stay home unless leaving is the only choice. Your home often provides more protection and resources than the open road ever will. For serious preppers, the lesson is simple. Don't build your survival plan around a Hollywood version of bugging out. Only bug out as a last resort, when there's truly no other way. Pop culture loves the lone hero in the wilderness, from The Road to Mad Max. But building bug-out bags and dreaming of hidden retreats doesn't match how real emergencies actually play out. Surveys show the gap between fantasy and reality is huge. In one study, 86% of Americans said a 72-hour kit would help their survival chances, yet 72% had never even built one. Many still assume government aid or first responders will show up right away, but that's a dangerous misconception. In a real collapse, you could be on your own for days. And the evidence is clear. During Hurricane Sandy, more than 8 million people lost power, and some waited over 2 weeks for it to return. Disasters drag on longer than most expect, and help doesn't always come fast. That's why planning around movie scenarios is a big mistake. When disaster hits, survival doesn't come from a Hollywood-style sprint in the woods. It comes from realistic, flexible plans that match the harsh facts on the ground. Evacuating in large numbers creates massive traffic and supply problems. In every major disaster, roads jam up and fuel runs dry. During Hurricane Floyd in 1999, Florida highways gridlocked. Drivers ran out of gas, and many never reached shelter before the storm slammed into them. More recently, before Hurricane Milton in 2024, over 1 million Floridians fled. Within hours, nearly 1 in 5 gas stations were bone dry. Extreme weather can bring everything to a standstill, from roads and fuel to rescue efforts. Highways become dangerous when bridges collapse and roads flood, and GPSs and cell services can fail, leaving evacuees disoriented. Even printed maps are little help if you don't know the terrain. Storms or blizzards can turn a bug-out drive into a fight for your life, and proof that joining the masses is dangerous, unpredictable, and never guarantees safety. This is why emergency planners stress keeping 72-hour kits at home, at work, and in your car, because you may need them even if you're stranded on the road. These kits should cover the basics like water, food, and first aid to keep you going when help doesn't come. And in a real disaster, having one can be the difference between making it through safely and not making it at all. In a true breakdown, whether war, economic collapse, or even post-nuclear, bugging out exposes you to serious risks. When authority collapses, lawlessness rises fast and spreads everywhere. Hurricane Katrina proved the point. With police communications down and officers missing, the city couldn't maintain order, and looting spread quickly. Supplies weren't only taken by desperate survivors. Criminals also seized the chance to profit. On the open road, without backup, you're wide open to danger. One accident or break-in could stop you cold, and medical care also disappears in this kind of chaos. Hospitals are overrun, supplies run out, and some facilities shut down entirely. Once you're far from civilization, there's no ambulance or quick clinic, and even minor injuries can quickly turn life-threatening. Public health failures are common after disasters. During Hurricane Irma in 2017, nursing home residents died simply from heat after power was lost and backup generators failed. Outdoors, exposure adds to the danger. Heat stroke, hypothermia, or infection can strike fast without proper shelter or medicine. And in some disasters, bugging out isn't just dangerous, it's the wrong move altogether. Chemical leaks, airborne toxins, or epidemics demand shelter, not flight. FEMA and the CDC warn that after a nuclear explosion or chemical release, the safest action is to get inside immediately. Vehicles, mobile homes, or outdoor areas don't offer protection. Only thick-walled or underground shelter can shield you from blast, fallout, or toxins. In these situations, a panicked bug-out leaves you exposed, without real protection, and that mistake can cost you your life. Many bug-out advocates believe rugged skills will keep them alive in the wild for months. But real wilderness survival is brutally hard. Some claim that basic skills are enough, but seasoned outdoor instructors say otherwise. Finding safe water and edible food takes constant effort, and even small mistakes can turn fatal. GPS devices fail without power, and unless you know how to use a map and compass, navigation becomes guesswork. Building shelter that truly protects against weather also demands both knowledge and materials. Even common advice like starting a fire or catching fish assumes perfect conditions. In winter, exposure kills faster than hunger. In desert heat, dehydration can set in within hours. A small group on the move will end up hungry, thirsty, and at risk of illness. The truth is, very few people could actually live off-grid for long. Every year, hikers with far more gear and experience still die from hypothermia, accidents, or bad decisions. Most of these deaths happen within just a few miles of safety, proving how fast conditions can become life-threatening. And a remote retreat comes with its own risks. No power means no refrigeration, no light, no way to stay informed. Leaving your home also means leaving it unprotected. Training manuals admit that after a major disaster, you should assume your house will be looted or destroyed if left behind. Many refuse to evacuate for this very reason. They know empty homes become targets. Once you leave, you hand your hard-earned assets to whoever shows up next. Modern life depends on massive infrastructure, such as electricity, water, fuel, and communication. By bugging out to a remote location, you cut yourself off from all of it. Reports on the power grid call electricity the linchpin. Without it, water stops flowing, food spoils, and fuel pumps shut down. Grocery stores go dark and empty overnight when refrigeration stops, which leads to stripped shelves and instant shortages. Hospitals running on backup generators can only hold on for so long, and that quickly results in failing equipment and patients left without critical care. In a true grid-down scenario, a rural cabin isn't automatically safer. Without heat, sanitation, or communication, you're just isolated in the dark. Wells may stop working without pumps, leaving you without water, and waste quickly becomes a health hazard. With no phone or radio, you also lose contact with the outside world and any chance of timely help. And that's why having backup systems and realistic contingency plans is so important. Even outside a total grid failure, remote retreats face shortages. Fuel must also be hauled in, but in crises, it's often stolen or diverted to essential services first. Food has to be stockpiled in bulk, since stores will be empty or looted. If banks or businesses collapse, money and markets lose their value overnight. In short, walking away from modern society means walking away from the last pieces of stability it provides. Preparedness guides warn that even if you bug out, you must not only reach your destination, but also have the supplies to sustain yourself once you arrive. Otherwise, the entire plan collapses. And reaching that destination is far from guaranteed. Roads may be blocked, fuel may be gone, and travel itself will drain your energy and resources before you even get there. Even if you make it, survival depends on what's waiting at that location. Do you have food stored, tools to repair shelter, a reliable source of clean water? Without those, a retreat is nothing more than four walls in the woods. The hard truth is that these conditions are extremely difficult to guarantee when everything around you is already falling apart. Counting on a perfect escape and a perfectly stocked hideout is more wishful thinking than a survival plan. History offers plenty of warnings. In New Orleans, those who stayed often faced violence or death, while many who fled lost their homes to flooding or looting. In Texas, during the 2021 winter storm, city residents who tried to leave hit closed highways and freezing weather, while those who stayed and conserved heat and supplies generally fared better. Even smaller events make the point clear. When a train derailment releases toxic gas, residents who sheltered in place survived, while some who fled by car risked driving straight into the cloud. In every single disaster, social bonds proved more valuable than running alone. After the Galveston hurricane of 1900 and the 1918 flu, neighbors saving neighbors made the difference. The same was true more recently. After Hurricane Katrina and Sandy, community volunteers were described as the first and only line of response. Local networks provided food, medical care, and comfort long before official help arrived, and they often did so faster and more effectively than any outside agency ever could. The lesson is simple. In times of collapse, your best chance isn't gambling on an uncertain escape. It's fortifying your home, stockpiling supplies, and building trust with the people around you. Given these realities, experts stress practical preparedness over drama. FEMA doesn't forbid evacuation, but they do insist families plan for both possibilities. Their advice is simple: keep emergency kits at home, at work, and in your car so you can adapt on the fly. If authorities order an evacuation, follow it, but know it's a last resort measure for life-threatening events. In many scenarios, you'll be safer staying home, locking it down, and relying on your own resources and community. Building community resilience isn't optional. It's the difference between surviving together or falling apart when disaster hits. Strong local ties means neighbors can rely on each other when disaster strikes. Neighborhood CRT teams or mutual aid groups can organize effectively, while local gardeners, mechanics, and first aid trained residents provide lifelines after a disaster. Studies show coordinated local action saves lives because the people on the ground know their needs best and can organize long before outside help arrives. In a crisis, your neighbors are often your first responders. They're the ones that can reach you fastest, check on the vulnerable, and share what little resources exist. When outside aid is delayed, it's the local network that keeps people alive until real assistance comes. As for the personal level, focus on realistic skills and redundancy. Stock 2 to 4 weeks of food, water, and medicine to cover your basic survival needs. On top of that, set aside extra fuel for heat or cooking, and keep cash ready in case digital payments fail or stores can't process cards. Learn first aid so you can treat injuries when medical help isn't available. Practice using a radio, since cell towers may fail and communication is critical in a crisis. And protect your vital records from storing copies in a waterproof kit where they're safe from fire, floods, or loss. Treat evacuation as a backup plan, something to use only if staying put becomes impossible. Leave too soon, and you may face more danger on the road than the disaster itself. In a prolonged collapse, you may need to move eventually, but that decision is best made after the immediate chaos has passed. There's a lot more to learn when it comes to staying ready. If you found it useful, know that I make videos for people who want to prepare for scenarios just like this. So, if you're a prepper looking for solid information, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And don't forget to share this with the friends and family you want to keep safe as well. In uncertain times, resilience is the greatest comfort, and it's the one thing no crisis can take away from you.